Futures and forex trading contains substantial risk and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please take a moment to review the full disclaimer. Hello traders, Kevin from chartspots.com. In today's video we'll be preparing for the ECB rate decision and press conference tomorrow, and I'll be showing you how I'm preparing and setting up a trade plan for tomorrow. What I would also do is have a look back what happened today in the past few sessions to provide some context where we are. Additionally, I'll also be looking at the ECB days of the past year, so basically all of them that happened in 2017, to have a look what typically happens. Of course, as always, past performance not indicative of future results. Additionally, I think it's quite an important one, or might turn out to be an important ECB press conference tomorrow. While obviously we don't expect any hikes, we have the tapering, which is already started this month, and we saw some remarks, I believe it was last week, which also caused some volatility in the markets. I believe it was Daniel Praat who mentioned some more hawkish comments. So we have this situation now where on most of the European indices we are at all-time highs or very close to them. On the other hand, we have the euro, which has been moving up already since January 2017. It's breaking through significant levels and might be entering a prior long time frame balance area for the euro, which could potentially even bring us to 1.40, 1.60 were the highs, I believe. So yeah, we know the ECB is not too happy about this strong euro, as it will weigh in the end on our output, our GDP, because of course we do export, especially if you look at Germany, a lot, and with a stronger euro that's obviously not a good thing. And at the same time we are still at zero interest or negative interest rates, so we don't have ammunition for a recession. So I think they're finding themselves a bit in a pickle right now. So yeah, I'm interested to see what comes out of it. So that's the main thing that I expect could trigger a large move. But let's move on to the charts and have a look what happened in the past ECB sessions. So we're looking at the 5-minute chart of the DAX, the past few sessions. So today we opened within range of the prior day. My primary trade plan looked like this, which initially did seem to be playing out as we had that initial test down, then started moving up again. I expected some consolidation here, which did happen, but I was expecting a test upwards, not getting very far, maybe touching the value area high and then coming back in to the value. This part didn't happen. We basically moved down. I did have, that was my second scenario, to see weakness throughout the day. However, in this plan I didn't foresee it past this point, so that didn't work out. In the end, what happened is, as we started challenging the lows again, as the US market opened, there was quite some volatility in the US as well, which carried over. We basically closed on the low point, so somewhere around here, but then in the overnight or the aftermarket we continued. So from that perspective, that auction didn't seem finished when the session closed, so that's something to keep in mind for tomorrow. In the end, what we did, we started filling the gap which we left behind here. So as soon as we entered, things accelerated, as you expect when you enter a gap. You either bounce from it or you move through it quickly. Tested it from below, moved down. In the end, what did we accomplish today? Initially it was looking very cleanly. We had a very balanced profile. Additionally, we filled in the LVN from yesterday, which was this line. So that was looking good to have a balanced day, but then sellers did step in as US volume entered the market as well. Where did we go? We simply went through to this distribution of the past of two session distribution basically, and we finished right at the POC. So we tested the lower bound, which is exactly where we bounced, and finished at the point of control of this area, which after this session became the POC again. So what am I expecting for tomorrow? My primary expectation, let me pull up a new screenshot so I can immediately save it. As the auction here was not finished, I'm expecting to open within this area tomorrow morning. I expect that we do test down, but fail to break consistently below this LVN, come back up again, clear the overnight high, come into balance again, and then it's ECB news or press conference, and then we might go either way. Areas that I'm looking for, breaks that will be important, is basically this area right here, which is this LVN, which would bring us into this distribution again. An expectation is then to at least touch this high volume node if we have the power. If we still see buying pressure, we might move higher and print all-time high. On the downside, should we break again this level, so that's around here, I'm expecting to fall into prior balance area, which is also having a naked POC here, so that would be target if we start moving down. So I'm looking at this area, and here anything above. Of course, I think the most important thing tomorrow is to let the auction speak for itself. Maybe even don't watch the news. In the end, you have to see what market participants are doing, and whatever that news is, it potentially only confuses you. So maybe that's something you can give a go. It's what I do as well. As secondary plans, so let's save that one for tomorrow. Let's clean all this out. Other scenarios are a balanced day, basically containing the range inside this high volume distribution, basically chopping around the complete day. And other possibilities which have happened before on ECB days is simply opening and start trending. So I would be open to see that those scenarios as well. If we see continued weakness and strong selling pressure on the open, taking out this low, we might not need ECB news to do some selling first. So with that said, that sets a bit how I'm looking at it on preparing for tomorrow. What I also wanted to show you is the prior ECB days. So on this chart I have marked them. Let me remove this. So all these arrows represent ECB days. It's difficult to really see much into this, to be quite honest. The beginning of the year, these days tended to be quite typical, nothing special happening. It did start to change a bit around here, where we put in a high and a low. The day we opened on that high, we started the rally up. Similarly here, the ECB day in October initiated the rally, which led us to all-time highs. The one in December was a indecision day with some surge, and yeah, basically in the middle of all this chop and balance area. So not seeing a real line in there. And to show you as well, here are some screenshots I took. So that first day is the ECB day, nothing special, small rally and retrace in the afternoon. The 9th of March, similarly nothing special. Then 27th of April, basically a copy-paste day of the prior one, which we did again the next day. Then a very tight range of the ECB day on the 8th of June. A lot of up and down, but no real decisive course of action. Interestingly, the day after we had this strong surge in the morning. This one was quite pivotal. We had come down a bit and then continued after the ECB day being a neutral day. Quite a bit of range on this one. Looking at about 200 points, so that's quite a lot. And this is the one in July. This one I found interesting, and I mentioned before. So we set in ECB all-time high, and then as we opened on that high or just above it, we started the rally higher, and this was in September. In October, the 26th, it was basically a trend day. Started moving up, didn't look back. So, which brings us to the last one, which was a whole lot of nothing and having an average range of about 150 points. So looking at that, keep that in mind. It can go any way, in any form these days. When you're on the social media, you might notice people expecting the next coming of Christ, but of course that can happen. But be modest, nimble, have a good plan, prepare yourself, make sure you have your important levels clearly marked, and most importantly, try to clearly read what the market is telling you as the day advances. Who is in control? Do you see longer term money flowing into the market, strong rotations in to one side or the other? Those are all important clues, as they are each and every day. But be on the lookout, of course, as we might have especially high volatility. So with that said, good luck tomorrow, and let's see how it pans out. Goodbye.